Lesson 7, Action. We will continue now in this lesson to cover the non-financial or other elements I alluded to within the Goots model, all of which are very important. Let's talk about good versus evil. It's time to get out of the system of being trapped in a chronic state of procrastination. The times we are living in are perilous in this battle between good and evil, but we are winning. The truth shall set us free, so we must continue to seek the truth, go down the rabbit holes, dig, dig, dig. The truth shall set us free, and this is key to ending procrastination. We have seen that Big Pharma cures nothing. Big banks profit off us and fund both sides of many, many wars and control our life's energy, our money. Media reports scripted agendas, lies, and propaganda. Man-made religions have probably done more harm than good, as history has shown us. Many politicians and people in power have proven to be corrupt beyond belief. And as poetic singer-songwriter Jackson Browne stated in a song, quote, "If anyone interferes in the business of why there are poor, they get the same as the rebel Jesus." With all that is coming to light, we can see much of what has been happening in this world has been served up as lies and propaganda. Indoctrination through the education system, from the cradle to the grave. PSYOPs deployed from both sides of this war, resulting sometimes in procrastination, leading often to inaction. Let's talk about the matrix we're breaking free from. One of the many patterns and routines we have all been misled by, being trapped in this controlled matrix of thought and programming, is trusting various individuals and institutions. We have come to learn of fake news. I mean, if you ask the average person if they believe that Wall Street has Main Street's best interest in mind, you would simply be laughed at. From the Federal Reserve, who hijacked the control of our country and currency, in what might as well be called the Great American Coup of 1913, we've come to learn there is nothing federal about the Federal Reserve, and there is no reserve. The Federal Reserve is no more a government agency than Federal Express. Look it up. We've come to learn that our elections and the elections in over 72 countries for the past 20 years have been manipulated and stolen, thus affecting the lives of us all, and of course for nefarious purposes. People, and for the right reasons, no longer trust most elected officials nor their government. We have come to learn that many of the wars in this past century were based on false premise and should have never, ever happened. Thank God President Donald J. Trump is ending endless wars. We are living through times in this great reveal, these revelations, this great awakening, that all is not as it seemed. From news reporting to religion, from Big Pharma and the healthcare industry, now there's an oxymoron, to rigged sports, from being entertained by Hollywood and the music industry. People we've revered, entertained us, we've looked up to. Ones we revered, many have turned out to be hateful lunatics on the wrong side of history. Many have turned out to be pedophiles and addicted to adrenochrome. And to think we helped them to become rich and famous makes matters worse. Yes, betrayal after trust. We live in an age where we don't even know who's dead and who is alive. After all, there's AI, digital technology, CGI, masking, clones, and much more. After all, witness the auto presidency of so-called Joe Biden. So we must break free from the matrix of controlled thought and behavior. Garbage in, garbage out. Got to put in the work. We are living in times where it is difficult to detect truth from lies in the age of fake news. For decades, and increasingly so in the last 10 years, we have come to learn that much of the legacy or mainstream media is controlled opposition, lawyers, propaganda, actors, disinformation, misinformation, outright lies, and thus fake news. Who's the biggest sponsor of legacy media by and large? Oh yeah, Big Pharma. Let's have a look at these codes. I will read them. Let's have a look at U.S. Codes Section 2384 and Section 2385. And all of this that I'm laying down here leads to action. U.S. Code Section 2384, seditious conspiracy. Think media as we go through this. If two or more persons in any state or territory or in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof, or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States, or by force to seize, take, or possess any property of the United States contrary to the authority thereof, they shall each be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. U.S. Section Code now 2385, advocating the overthrow of a government. Think CIA, think FBI, think Barack Obama, think mainstream news. Sorry if I'm rubbing against the grain here, but these are now facts as delivered to us via the administration. U.S. Code Section 2385, advocating the overthrow of a government. Whoever knowingly or willfully advocates, abets, advises, or teaches the duty, necessity, desirability, or propriety of overthrowing or destroying the government of the United States or the government of any state, territory, district, or possession thereof, or the government of any political subdivision therein, by force or violence, or by the assassination of any officer of any such government, or whoever with intent to cause the overthrow or destruction of any such government, prints, publishes, edits, issues, circulates, sells, distributes, or publicly displays any written or printed matter advocating, advising, or teaching the duty, necessity, desirability, or propriety of overthrowing or destroying any government in the United States by force or violence, or attempts to do so, or whoever organizes or helps or attempts to organize any society, group, or assembly of persons who teach, advocate, or encourage the overthrow or destruction of any such government by force or violence, or becomes or is a member of or affiliates with any such society, group, or assembly of persons, knowing the purpose thereof, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both, and shall be ineligible for employment by the United States or any department or agency thereof for the 5 years next following his or her conviction. If two or more persons conspire to commit any offense named in this section, each shall be fined under the title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both, and shall be ineligible for employment by the United States or any department or agency thereof for the 5 years next following his or her conviction. So, as used in this section, the terms organizes and organize with respect to any society, group, or assembly of persons include the recruiting of new members, the forming of new units, and the regrouping or expansion of existing clubs, classes, and other units of such society, group, or assembly of persons. So there's 2384 and 2385 U.S. Section Code. You can look them up. Now, many in the media, along with the tech giants like Google, Facebook, etc., are at best complicit and in violation of U.S. Code Section 2384 and 2385, 2384, which is seditious conspiracy for knowingly reporting false information, thus aiding and abetting the treasonous enemies and affecting election outcomes based on lies, thus advocating the overthrow of a government. And since our form of government was divinely inspired and created, the enemy, this evil has met its match, as this is a war between good and evil. We are on God's side, and God always wins. So again, garbage in, garbage out. Be careful what you consume. Be cognizant of what sources you choose for information. There are resources now that you can choose from within the independent new media. I have compiled a list, and it's an ongoing activity. It's an ongoing growing list. There's probably 75 to 100 in there at this time. I have compiled on my website, jmcbroadcasting.com, a resource guide. You can find it at the navigation bar for you to explore some of the new independent media platforms. I don't necessarily agree with all their positions and so forth, but the purpose is to provide alternative avenues of individual people, not controlled media, for you to explore and choose your arsenal of delivery systems for data. Independent media platforms. I also established the Library of Truth, which consists of deep dive reporting and documentaries digging deeper for hidden truths, all on the website. And as always, do your own research. Get some skin in the game. The truth will set us free. Good resources and good research leads one to truths. It is much easier to make decisions and free oneself from procrastination and inaction to action you are confident in taking. This brings me to General Michael Flynn. Back in around 2017 era, when the Q team was dropping on the boards, General Michael Flynn coined the phrase digital soldier. We need to have an army of digital soldiers. He said this was needed to step up and fight this disinformation PSYOP war. And so we did. And this, in my opinion, is the birth of new media. And it was formed organically, and today garnishes far more collective views than Fox, CNN, or MSNBC on any given show. And the rest of the fake news apparatus, for that matter. Turn off the fake news. Let's talk about the destruction of the family unit. Back in the late 60s, early 70s, those in charge, we'll call it, manufactured a war between the sexes. That's when it began, from my observation. Well, if there's a war between the sexes, there will be no people left, right? But what I'm talking about here is the destruction of the family unit, women's liberation. It was decided behind closed doors to pin the roles and duties between men and women and the rearing of children up against each other. Divide and conquer. Here, the third party rule is also evident. An undisclosed source creates, that's the third party, creates a lie, always hidden, sort of like the executioner's face. An undisclosed source creates a lie that divides people, then pouring fuel on that fire through their media apparatus, and eventually leaked all through the education system, through the entertainment system. Next thing you know, the undisclosed third party has triggered a battle between the spouses, in this case between men and women. A narrative was set forth to degrade a woman for being in a house dress at home raising the kids. So again, a narrative was set forth to degrade a woman for being what we later termed a stay-at-home mom. Words like that didn't exist then. A narrative that said women and men are the same and women need to get out into the workplace. What was the result of that? Both mother and father began competing in the workforce, later creating an industry come to be known as child daycare, as both spouses rushed off to work. So who was left to raise the children? Childcare. The public school system and the federal government. Oh yeah, let's not forget the television set with programming like Sesame Street, for example. Just drop the kids off there after daycare. And in the early 70s, television and movies began portraying men as idiots, weak buffoons. Then fast forward to today, men are portrayed as beta men versus alpha men at best, and to portray men as feminine and or homosexual. After all, toxic masculinity is very dangerous to the society, or so they say. So you would think that with two household incomes, the family unit will economically prosper. I mean, they've just possibly doubled their income competing for salaries and jobs in the workforce. Not the case, though. This little insidious thing that we talked about before, like taxes and inflation, took that prosperity away, and the federal government used your hard earned dollars to fund wars and what became really the beginning, seeding, and planting of globalization and the New World Order. So, what did we end up with? In my opinion, this began the battle of the sexes, and which has led us to an insane world. I think the last time I checked, they now have a list of genders, and this list has reached over 70 to date here in 2025. I'd like them to run that list up against our creator, see what the creator has to say about that list. With the children left improperly raised, all kinds of troubles ensued. Thus, the creation of protective child care services. Those that have done the research on this knows that that statement, that title, is an oxymoron as well. Go research what they have been doing. It's not pretty. So this brings us to action. Action changes things. We procrastinate because we're doubtful. We're doubtful because we no longer trust. We no longer trust because we're not given the truth, and it doesn't settle right with us on every level, every cellular structure. Action changes things. We got to move out of fixed conditions and procrastination. Seek good sources, pray, surround yourself with like-minded people, and you begin being freed from the trap. Once you understand on any particular issue that you're stuck in a quandary on, line up the information, line up some individuals, line up your resources, get to the bottom of it, and then you're very comfortable to take action. Now, there are no accidents, no coincidences. You and I, we have met here in this masterclass lessons. We have met for a reason. You've gone through the previous 6 lessons and have more than likely concluded that there are areas where you may be well prepared, other areas that may need work, and some areas that remain completely unaddressed. Therefore, it's time for action, as action changes things. The cost of inaction or wrong action, particularly at this time in history, on a few key fronts, may be the painful regret of a lifetime. Do not delay. Take action today. It's that simple. So back to procrastination. We are creatures of habit. Change your habits, change your life. We must break through procrastination for reasons we stated just a few moments ago. Why do we procrastinate, especially on such critical issues concerning our mind, body, spirit, wealth, health, the world that we have before us and after us for our children and grandchildren? These are critical issues concerning all of these aspects of our life. And how about peace of mind? The answer is doubt. We get stuck in the quandary of doubt. Not a good situation to be in, especially right here, right now, as great change is upon us. We are not sure of what steps we should be taking in a particular area, and thus remain apprehensive and reluctant to act. Doubt is part of that danger zone. Nothing in this universe stays the same. Nothing remains the same. Nothing remains static. Everything over time changes in some form or another. This world right now, including the entire financial system and currency itself, is rapidly changing. You must act now or be on the wrong side of history. If one remains inactive, the universe and the intention of others will act upon you. Like a leaf that has fallen from a tree, the wind and the elements will carry that leaf away, and eventually that leaf will perish. It is my intention that the content within this masterclass, along with my books, broadcasting episodes, the over 50 songs I've written, all these issues, and in my broadcasting covering the global defense war that we are engaged in, and my free modules at the Wealth Coach University, that we have filled in, I hope, some of the blanks for you and have inspired you to act today. But many still need a helping hand. This is why I have made myself available. My time is very limited, as everyone else's is. I'm busy growing, developing, and working inside as the sole host, JMC Broadcasting. It consumes a lot of my research time, a lot of my management organization time, and a lot of my on-camera time interviewing some of the most brilliant and important voices of our time in military, intelligence, economic, and health. Also, I'm presently 12 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, which makes scheduling rather difficult. So I can only meet with people 8 appointments a month. This is why I have made myself available as an additional helping hand. If from this masterclass series you're still not prepared to make changes, or you are prepared but you feel you need more help, I hope I've pointed you to many references, many sources, and have informed you, motivated you, and inspired you. I'm going to be conducting two group coaching sessions, but those that need direct helping hand, particularly in the financial area, I've made myself available for that purpose, and we'll get to that in a little bit more detail in the next and closing model lesson here, so that you can make informed decisions that you're confident in and get yourself positioned and prepared quickly. Folks, it's time. As a wealth coach client, I will open my resource network for you, make personal introductions, and fast track you to get you where you need to be. All storms come and go. This one, albeit a storm of gargantuan global proportions, it too will come and go. Once you get your economic house in order and have all other elements of the masterclass lessons in place, you will have more peace of mind and can continue to spread the truth and expose the crimes and evil acts of those working under the clutches of evil, and take advantage of the many opportunities in what is coming in this golden age. And you can help your children and your colleagues and your friends and neighbors and relatives. People are going to need your help. This golden age we just briefly mentioned is real. It's happening, and we shall be healthy, peaceful, and prosperous just on the other side of the final phase, which is what we're engaged in right now, of this war. Yes, this is the dawning of the golden age. In fact, I wrote a song called The Golden Age. It's published up on my platforms in 1999. I guess I was like Panasonic, just slightly ahead of its time. But yes, this is the dawning of the golden age, not only here in America, but in due time throughout this world. America has led the way before and will continue to lead the way. The evil that has been long hidden, has shown its ugly face through those individuals and entities that serve the satanic realm. We have taken this on. Light versus dark, good versus evil. Yes, it's a dynamic war. It's a fluid war, but the plan is unfolding as it should, with a few twists and turns. They cannot prevent our victory. Nothing can stop what's coming, and the best is yet to come. Nothing will prevent our victory, for it is our destiny. When the weight of this war weighs heavy on your shoulders, have faith and know that we don't know what we don't know. It's a clandestine operation. We don't know what we don't know within certain circles and aspects of this clandestine war. But know this, everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's simply not the end. So never, ever, ever give up. And as I stated before in a previous chapter, this is divinely driven. We are on God's side, and God always wins. So when your children and grandchildren ask you, what were you doing when the global governance was being thrust down the throat of America and the world? What will your answer be? Freedom. It's up to us. Where we go one, we go all. Together we will save America and begin the course correction for humanity, which has already begun, as America once again leads the way. After all, this is God's country. So the key takeaways here: seek truth, then act. Once you get to the truth, you peel the layers back, you surround yourself with individuals that can provide value in the areas you need help in, and you've done your research and homework. It's okay to hold each other's hand through the fire. And we come out the other end. And then we take the action steps. And then we have peace of mind and we can help others. So seek truth, then act. Action changes things. Act today. It's time. I'll see you in the final lesson of this masterclass series.